Okay, guys, what's up? It's your girl T's Corner. I had to come and talk to you guys about something that is related to my job because I found it out a couple of months ago, but it just really struck me as odd and nonsensical. So, I live in the state of Maryland, and I am an offshoot of the Division of Vital Records. So I am the local Division of Vital Records agent, I guess you could say. And in processing birth and death certificates, you learn the law because you have to know what you can and what you can't do. So, in learning the law of what I can and can't do, I've had, and this has just struck me as absolutely crazy, I've had gentlemen come in to me and say, my girlfriend and I have a kid, newborn. We need to get my name on his birth certificate or her birth certificate. So to me, this is an easy fix. All right, it's gonna cost you $10. Actually, it don't even cost you $10 because to add the father is free. It don't cost you $10. Lots of other corrections and things cost $10. This does not. So just fill out this form. I need you and mom to come in. Both of you bring your IDs, stand before me, sign this application. I'm going to notarize it. I'm going to give it to you. You're going to put it in the mail. You're going to send it down Town Road Plaza. Boom. Done. Right? No. If the mother is legally married to someone other than the father, then paternity is presumed. And in presumed paternity, we presume that the husband is the father. If the mother and father are not married, but she is married to someone else. Now, it also states that if the mother is married to the husband, but the father is someone else, the husband is legally responsible for the child unless he proves legally through a paternity test that he is not the father. And then and only then can the biological father add his name to the child's birth certificate unless mom files for divorce. This is insanity to me. If all three parties involved know who the father is, no one is disputing it, but because A and B are married, C has no rights to his child. This is the craziest thing I have ever heard in my life. Now, I understood back in the day, and when I say back in the day, my mother's 60, her siblings are older, a couple younger. But if your mother was not married to your father and carried his name, then the name on your birth certificate had to be the last name that your mother carried. So at the time that my grandmother had all her children, I think she was divorced, but she never changed her name. And my grandfather was still married to his first wife. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But I was actually at my grandparents' wedding because they was together for like 40 years before they got married. Crazy. But because my grandmother's last name was not at the time her children were born the same as my grandfather's last name, all of her children had to have her last name. So they carry the last name of a man who is not their father, who did, play stepdaddy sometimes, but who's not their father. And when I say play stepdaddy sometimes, I mean when they were grown and had their own children. And my grandfather had passed away. But because my grandmother still carried her second husband's name, her children carry his last name as their maiden name. And I just thought that was crazy because I'm like, okay, A, B, and C. A and B ain't together no more. And everybody knows C, they daddy. couldn't be done on the paperwork. And I'm just like, this is so retarded. There are so many things that disturb me about a lot of things when it comes to fathers and paternity and children. Now, I am one of those people who is against abortion for anything other than medical reasons or incest or rape. I think women who use abortion as a form of birth control are pretty much terrible people. My own personal opinion, you feel about it how you want to feel. I feel like if you consent to sex, you consent to the possibility of parenthood. That is me. Now, notice the word consent. If you consent to sex, then you consent to the possibility of parenthood. Now, if somebody has taken that right to consent away from you, then absolutely not. I don't think that anybody should have to look at the product of their rape or incest or attack or anything like that unless they choose to. And I know a lot of women choose to keep their children and love them and they have healthy relationships. I know some people couldn't bear the idea, and I think if they couldn't bear the idea, then they have that right. But what I don't like about that is that women have the right to have an abortion for any reason they want to. I mean, unless you live in the South recently, you know. Now that they messing with Roe and Wade and all that good stuff. But a woman can just wake up pregnant and say, I don't want this baby, and go to the clinic and be done with it. A man can wake up and say, I don't want this baby, and he does not have that choice. He is financially responsible, whether he's physically there and morally there or not. He's financially responsible. She could take him uptown. All she needs is a DNA test. And boom, he's responsible. He doesn't get to say, I don't want to be a parent. I don't want to do this. And I don't think that's fair. I have always been one of those equal opportunity type of people. So I feel like just like a woman can walk away from her responsibilities, a woman can murder her child just because she feels like it. Why can't a man walk away just because he feels like it? And because I feel this way, and I've always felt this way, when I found out I was pregnant, that was the second thing I said to my baby daddy. You tell me right now you don't want to do this, and I'll never ask you for anything. If you say you in, and it ain't no more outs. Because I feel like he should be given that opportunity to say, I don't want to do this. Now, he said, I want to do this. I'm sure throughout the 12 years of our son's life that he was here with him, because he has transitioned. Some days he wish he didn't say I'm in, not because he didn't love his child or want to take responsibility for his child. He didn't want to deal with my ass. And I can laugh about it now, but we had some rough years. Them first 6 or 7 was rough. But I gave him that opportunity because in essence, I had that opportunity and I didn't have to have his permission. He could say, yes, I want my child. And I could say, well, you know what? I don't. And that's it. Doesn't matter what he wants. And I can't feel okay with that. I cannot. Whether he wants to be a father, whether he doesn't want to be a father, he has no say because it's a woman's right to choose her body, her choice. I can't get with that. I get the whole her body, her choice thing, and you have to, be able to have control over your own body. But at the same time, this is not something you could do by yourself. You can't ever make a baby by yourself. So at that point, it took someone else's assistance. So I don't think it should just be one person's decision. That's just me. So that's how I feel about abortion and fathers in that situation. And fathers in this situation, first of all, if you are married, and you're a married man and you're faithful to your wife and you think your wife is faithful to you and she's not, and you're married, so you're signed on, whether you actually sign the birth certificate or not. You don't have to sign the birth certificate. You are still legally responsible for that child if you were married to the mother at the time that they were born. That is insane if that's not your child. And then you got to go court costs and paying for lawyers and DNA testing and all of these things to prove you're not, so that you're not financially responsible, whether the mother and the actual father say so or not. It don't even matter if the mom says, I'm 100% sure that he's not the father, and the father has stepped up and said, I am the father. It doesn't matter. Husband's still responsible until they go through court. And that just makes no sense to me. So I'm just wondering, does it make sense to you guys? Because it's come up a couple of times for me with my clients in the last few months. And when I'm explaining it to them, they look like, and I feel like that when I'm telling them, because it don't make no sense. This is the absolute most asinine thing ever. That you can't claim your child legally on paper because the mother was married to someone else at the time that the child was born. That is just crazy. So that's T's Corner for today at the gas pump, as you can see. What do you guys think of that?